Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6:30 for UpNorthLive Unscripted. We're going to go ahead and bring in our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. Joe, people have seen some snow, of course, the last couple of days. Will some folks see some more tonight?
Yeah, a little bit, but I actually think more in the way of a little rain tonight. You'll see temperatures are going to drop into the 30s tonight, but aloft overhead, we have a little bit of warmer air working in. So eventually that's going to switch this over to mainly rain. We'll see some showers tomorrow. And then later in the week, this will be nice. Not snow, sun.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we'll see that. It looks like Thursday, Friday. We'll kind of end the week on a nice note. And along with that, of course, bit of a warm up too. So we'll take a look at that, kind of time that all out and look ahead to next weekend a little later in the show, Cody.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. And our top story tonight, $54 billion. That's the reported impact tourism had on the state of Michigan last year. Those tourists keep a lot of communities financially afloat, and that's a good thing. But hosting all of those tourists who bring a lot of money to town also costs towns a lot of money in terms of essential services and strains on infrastructure. As our Mark Gillette tells us, a northern Michigan lawmaker has proposed a way to get a little help covering those costs.
After these bills were announced, we did get a good response from the hotels and lodging and the restaurant people and the local Michigan Municipal League and the MTA.
Good response for Representative John Roth doesn't necessarily have to be supportive.
We want the pushback. We want the conversation to be had.
And when he co-sponsored a series of bills in Lansing that address short-term rentals, conversations from various organizations that would be impacted were launched.
They all kind of came out and said, hold on, we want to be part of this discussion.
To discuss a 3% tax on short-term rentals if and only if they're booked through certain platforms.
Anything that uses these platforms like Airbnb, VRBO, I know some of our hotels use them when they have their down seasons to fill rooms.
And only if local voters support the fee implementation.
It's an opt-out possibility that a community doesn't have to be locked into this program.
But if they do, at least a portion of the money collected would go back to these local communities to fund the expenses of hosting tourists and the added strain they put on essential services. But part of the money could go to support the tourism industry as well, perhaps supplementing the recent budget cuts to the Pure Michigan campaign.
Pure Michigan funding has gone down. It's still out there, but it's not at the level that we used to do it. So they have concerns, and I don't blame them.
Concerns over Pure Michigan funding and some concerns about the legislation, that pushback that Representative Roth spoke of. The Michigan Hospitality and Tourism Alliance telling us, quote, these bills propose a new general government tax that does nothing to strengthen Michigan's local businesses or address tax parity, end quote. As supporters and beneficiaries of the Pure Michigan campaign, they say this isn't the way to address the shortfall, quote. The Alliance urges state leaders to reject these bills and pursue legislation that creates equitable funding for Pure Michigan and truly maximizes the potential of Michigan's visitor economy, end quote. It's that kind of feed or pushback that Representative Ross says actually will help make this a better bill.
I think we have some more work to do. I don't believe they will pass currently in their form that they are. And I will say that's good. Let's work on this. But finally, I think we've got everybody's attention in the state to take a look at it anyway.
Those are Mark Gillette reporting. Again, Representative Roth says this fee would not apply to all hotel rooms or rentals, only those which book through certain platforms like Airbnb and Vrbo. This proposed legislation is still very early on and could still go through a lot of transformations. We'll keep you posted on it. An update tonight out of Grand Traverse County. It's regarding the ongoing legal battle between Peninsula Township and the wineries of Old Mission Peninsula. Last night, the citizens group Protect the Peninsula announced its settlement objectives in the lawsuit. And to explain those far better than I can, we're going to bring in Mike Detmer with Protect the Peninsula. Mike, thanks for joining us. We'll go into those objectives a little later. But first, can you tell us about Protect the Peninsula and what is your role in this?
All right. Protect the Peninsula has been a advocacy organization since 1978, involved with watching generally what goes on politically and within the government in the township. And we became involved in this issue back in late 2020 and we became a party to the litigation in July of 2022 after petitioning the Court of Appeals in Cincinnati. They granted us what's called intervention, and protecting rights we felt we had as property owners, as stewards of the township, behind and in conjunction with the township government in this case.
Sure. And you mentioned when this was formed in 1978. To the best of your knowledge, how was this group formed?
How was it formed?
Yeah.
There was a issue back then where I think the project was called the Bluffs Golf Course. A developer wanted to build a very large homeowner development golf course near between Bluff Road and Center Road, and it was just inappropriate. And the PTP was formed and became viable then, and continues to be viable today.
And now, fast forwarding to now, with the issues that you guys are talking about, why decide to get involved in this situation?
Two issues. One, in late 2020, I, with a few other people, went to the township meeting where they were vetting the lawyer who was going to defend the township in this litigation. And in the packet, this is how simple this is. In the packet, he had a certificate that he was Lawyer of the Year. And I shook my head, and I was looking at, as I sat there, I Googled this organization, and it turned out he paid $795 to get this certificate. That obviously got me going that this is not the right guy. And it's, I don't know if he's a good lawyer or not. He certainly was not representing the township well. And that led to us becoming very involved, also led us to seek his removal as the township government, when they finally figured this out, they removed him, hired very competent counsel out of Lansing, and that counsel continues now to represent Peninsula Township.
And in this specific case,
let me just say this: the second reason we sought intervention is because the township was sued not only over the validity of their zoning ordinances, they were sued for $200 million. And our argument in the district court and successfully in the circuit court in Cincinnati was, though we knew the township would do everything possible to defend their organization, there was essentially a appearance of a conflict. If they got into settlement discussions, and then one hand they had the zoning ordinance to deal with, and on the other hand they had the potential damage reward, which has come to pass. It wasn't $200 million, but the court ordered $49 million, which we totally oppose and believe with all sincerity that it's not going to stand up. But what the argument back in 2022 indicated, the court basically ruled that yes, there was this appearance, and how would the township deal with these conflicting issues, and basically said that PTP should be allowed in. I'd be happy to read this little dissection. The court in Cincinnati said, whatever else they may think about the state of public finances, these members, meaning PTP, are primarily concerned with safeguarding their land values, ensuring quiet enjoyment of their homes, and preserving the viability of their farms. Combined, protect the peninsula. These differences show the township lacks potentially lacks the same drive that motivates Protect the Peninsula to focus solely on defending the zoning ordinance. And that's what we've been doing. And we really appreciate the current township government is fully ready to defend not only the damage award, but the zoning ordinance. And that's where we're at the moment.
Yeah, and that brings us to the announcement last night, settlement objectives. Can you briefly tell us about what those goals are from your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Because all of the mediations have been confidential to date over the last 3 or 4 years, we have been fighting to try to publicize this. And when the wineries, God bless them, came out with a settlement offer a week or so, 2 weeks ago, confidential, but made a big deal about it in the public, we thought that gave us the opportunity to respond in kind. But we wanted our framework of a settlement, the negotiation points, to be transparent, to be public, and get the 6,000 residents of the township involved in this. But here's essentially, we believe that there has to be 11 settlements, 11 different wineries, all with different special contracts, essentially, with the township. 3 different portions of the ordinance. Each one of those wineries needs to be negotiated with separately. We totally support winemaking and wine sales as the principal operations of the wineries. We support expanded revenues through agritourism tied directly to the wineries, to the wine making process they're farming and dealing with. At the same time, we need to support a settlement that has better compliance, better enforcement. Sadly, and I think every township in northern Michigan has the same problem, the enforcement of township ordinances is always subpar. You just don't have the revenue. And we need in this township, and we need all over northern Michigan or northwest Michigan, better enforcement of our zoning. We don't need the Bank Township of Antrim County saying, no, we don't want any zoning. We need to live within zoning that protects our neighbors, protects our township. And the last thing we are, is sort of a red line. We are, our negotiations need to
Here, Mike, I hate to interrupt you. We are running out of time just a little bit.
Let me just say this: no damages from the taxpayers in the township.
There we go. That's what we wanted to hear. We did see a lot about that with taxpayers not being liable for those damages was a part of those settlement objectives. That was Mike Detmer. Thanks to you for joining us with Protect the Peninsula. Now, Protect the Peninsula, as you saw right there, will host a community forum to talk about its settlement position. That's November 24th at 5 p.m. at the Peninsula Community Library. Now, Northwestern Michigan College in Traverse City invited the campus and community to attend its annual Veterans Day ceremony today. Staff, students, and community members gathered inside the Osterland building. VFW and Metro Guard kicked off the ceremony. Remarks were followed by a flag-raising ceremony, 3-volley salute, taps, and the Star-Spangled Banner performed by the Traverse City Central High School Band. Our question of the day does have to do with that, as it is Veterans Day. And today it is, do you or family members serve in the military? There's plenty of time to vote. You can vote on our Facebook page, on our website, UpNorthLive.com, or you can scan that QR code on your screen. All right, we'll take a look at those results later in the show. But first, we're going to talk to our Chief Meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, about the rest of what your forecast looks like this week. We'll be right back.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
Welcome back to Unscripted. We did get some snow, of course, this week. You probably saw it. And still some today for some folks as we bring in our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix. Joe, how much longer will some folks continue to see the snow?
Yeah, it's winding down. We had, of course, that shot of cold air and some snow Sunday, Monday. Even today, we had a few snow showers around. But the thing is, we're warming up now. Slowly. It's not going to be 80 anytime soon. But we are going to see the snow switching to more rain showers tomorrow. And then even those will probably wind down by, midday on Thursday. Speaking of snow, some on the ground here. This is a Harrietta, our UpNorthLive Skyview drone. Out earlier today. Yeah, cloudy skies. That's what it looked like over pretty much all of northern Michigan. Even a little snow coming down here. This is in Wexford County. And yeah, not really even much leaves left on the trees. Kind of went through fall quickly. And now, again, some spots, a little snow on the ground. So tonight, there is a front. It's just to the west of us, crossing through. Behind that, it is a bit warmer. And eventually, we're going to start seeing a little bit of this warmer weather. Here are the current temperatures around the Midwest. Sault Ste. Marie, you're at 32, 38 at Traverse City. But you get out into Iowa and then west, temperatures are in the 50s, including Des Moines right now where it's 56. Some of that by late week will start rolling into northern Michigan. So the trend is for a little bit of a warm-up coming up. Here's our satellite picture, and radar. Cloud cover everywhere. The rain snow we had earlier is kind of moving off now into Lake Huron. There's another little band of snow across parts of the UP. It's not going to be a bad night weather-wise, but there will be some hit-and-miss rain and snow showers right there. And by tomorrow morning, we'll kind of stop this. There's 8 a.m. Mainly rain, just some showers. More likely north and east as opposed to south and west tomorrow. A little sun later in the day in our southern counties. And then Thursday, a little rain snow mix north, and that comes to a pretty quick end. And then Thursday and Friday looking good in terms of some sunshine. So here's our forecast on that. Thursday, yeah, if you like sunshine, I'm sure, 98% of you do. Thursday and Friday look to be the two good days for that. Then things cloud over. You see that Saturday, Sunday into Monday. Want to point out the weekend, dry, sunny Friday. Then we cloud up. And then in the afternoon Saturday, that is also the opening day of firearm deer season Saturday, some rain Saturday afternoon, and then perhaps some snow showers behind that on Sunday. So here's your extended forecast. Thursday and Friday, a couple nice days. You can see the warm up too. Notice a few 50s in the forecast. Saturday, a little rain later in the day, and then chance for some snow showers on Sunday, Cody. So yeah, the end of the week looks pretty nice. We'll see a little sunshine.
Awesome, Joe. I am a part of that group. I do enjoy some sunshine.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe is going to break down high school volleyball playoffs. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Unscripted. Regional semifinals in volleyball tonight. Sports director Harrison Beebe breaks it down.
It is Super Tuesday for high school girls volleyball as we have 15 Northern Michigan schools competing tonight in regional semifinals. Chance to play in the regional championship games later in the week, with these teams also still prioritizing a potential trip to Battle Creek for next week and the state championships. Let's go ahead and run down some of the games we've got coming up. We're going to have highlights of Traverse City Central and Cadillac. They're meeting in a neutral site down in Mount Pleasant in Division I. The Trojans won this region a year ago for the first time ever, but the Vikings beat them in the regular season one time. What will happen in this postseason matchup? We'll find out tonight. Also, in the higher divisions, Reed City visiting Fremont in a Division II regional semifinal. We'll update you on the Coyotes during sports at 11. Let's shift to Division III, where the huge matchup of the night is definitely in Houghton Lakes Regional between Kingsley and Roscommon. The Bucks ranked number 1 in D3, Kingsley ranked number 3, but only one of them can move on to the regional final. We'll get you highlights of their matchup tonight at 11 as well. Also in Division III, this one taking place at a neutral site in Charlevoix, Traverse City, St. Francis. They've made 2 straight trips to the Division III finals, taking on Johannesburg Lewiston tonight, with the winner of that one heading to the UP for a regional final later in the week. And finally, we go to Division IV, where we've got a lot of young and hungry teams looking to advance to regional finals. We know Onekama's at the top of that list. The Portagers coming off a win over conference rival Suttons Bay in the district finals last week. They will be in the regional in Buckley tonight. The Portagers taking on Hale in the nightcap at the first game featuring TC Christian. That was the regional champion of this bracket last year. The Sabres taking on Bel Air in the early matchup of that doubleheader. Going up north, St. Ignace having a great season in volleyball. The Saints hosting Newberry, while Gaylord St. Mary takes on Atlanta. All 4 of those games in Division 4, along with Mason County Eastern taking on Fowler in a Division 4 regional semifinal. Stay up with us later tonight. We'll recap all the action from regional semifinal night and get you updated on who's moving on to regional finals for later in the week. That'll do it for sports. I'm Harrison Beebe.
And thanks to Harrison for that preview. We're going to take our final break of the show. When we get back, we'll take one last look at our question of the day today. It is about Veterans Day. You can still vote on our Facebook page, on our website, UpNorthLive.com, or if you're watching streaming, it'll be on your screen in just a second during that break. We'll also take a look at your comments. We'll be right back. Keep it here.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Unscripted. It is Veterans Day, so our question of the day today is, did you or family member serve in the military? 29% of people said yes, I served. 64% of people said yes, my family member served. And 7% of people said neither. Taking a look at some of your comments, Melody said grandfather in World War II. Kathy said Guy McDonald, over 5 years in the Army, almost 2 years reserved. And Richard said father, Army, World War II, brother in Navy, Desert Storm, and nephew in the Marines. Thank you for commenting and thank you for voting. If you voted yes, thank you for your service and happy Veterans Day. And as always, thanks for joining us for Unscripted. Have a great night.